All right. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second. I'm trying to hit that screen again. And here we are.
Detroit Sports. Now, here's Dennis Fithian.
Oh, hey, thank you very much. Yeah, welcome in as we get ready to get things going here on this Thursday. Here's the gang. Adrian Myers on the bottom of the screen. Raj Bundles as we fire this one up here on this Thursday. Guys, how are you?
Great.
I'm good. Ready to talk some sports.
Man, all right. I was ready for, a double header, a little CADE Cunningham, Ja Morant, two of the young players in the NBA, one coming into his own, hopefully one that's going to be like that. And then, the Red Wings were supposed to take on the Ducks tonight, and the three Calder finalists, or three of the guys that you would pick right now to be rookies of the year. But that game got scrubbed, because of COVID. So just the Pistons tonight. What are you going to do, right? That's the way we're at right now.
Hopefully they look a little sharper than they did last night.
Well, the Pistons. Yeah, that was
bad.
Giving up 140 points, man. That was, and I had to look. I was like, man, the Hornets must be like 10 games above 500, man. They look like a finals team. It's like, no, it's just a 500 team.
Kelly Oubre with 8 threes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's crazy good. How they look. They look good against Milwaukee, then turn around and wet the bed like that.
Yeah, I think that's been they'll play 6-7 games where they're bedwetting and then they come up. I think that Milwaukee game is like the Lions Cards game. You might only see one or two of those, for the basketball season there. So, but we're going to talk about the Pistons coming up in the fourth chapter as I take a look at it. Let's look at that chapters if we can. Is this it? No, that's the old one. Let's see if we got the new one here. Our book, as we take a look at it. No, it's not there, but I can tell you, we are going to get to the Pistons coming up in the fourth chapter. We're going to start with Michigan and Michigan State. Let me just tell you that we're brought to you by our title sponsor, CashToBitcoin.com. You're like Raj, you're like Adrian. You thought a lot about it. You hear about it. You see all these commercials, people talking about how to get in the crypto game. I'm here to tell you how to do it. It is CashToBitcoin.com. There's lots to be excited about. Not the Red Wings game tonight. CashToBitcoin.com is one of their sponsors, but the Pistons, they are somebody to be excited about. CashToBitcoin.com, that's where they come in. They're one of the fastest and largest growing crypto ATMs in Michigan. Check out a map. Even my dog likes it. He says go to Twitter to find out a crypto ATM near you at CashToBitcoin.com on Twitter. That's cash, the number 2, Bitcoin.com. Their ATMs and terminals offer safe and secure transactions. So get it going and check it out. That's CashToBitcoin.com. Adrian, you ready to just fly right into this and start talking some hoops, man? I want to hear what you have to say. Michigan and Michigan State, if the game's going to be played. I guess we have to say that about everyone coming up on Saturday.
Well, since, these two teams are headed in totally different directions right now as it stands, Michigan's been struggling. They've been on a struggle bus. Michigan State's on an 8-game win streak. These two teams are set to match up Saturday in Ann Arbor at Chrysler. But right now with the way it's heading, I just didn't see this coming from a young Michigan team. I know they got a lot of freshmen and stuff, but I don't know. They're not good, Dennis. They are not good right now. Hunter Dickinson doesn't look like himself from last year. I think they're missing Isaiah Livers. So what do you think?
Well, I think we've got two teams that are heading in the opposite direction. Michigan State hasn't lost since November, and Michigan, nothing's went right for them. Last year everything went right. They went to the transfer portal, they hit the jackpot. They got Mike Smith, they got Shawnee Brown. Those guys were awesome. This year, Devontae Jones was supposed to be better than both of those guys, and he's 23 years old, and he hasn't been. And then you look, Gabe Brown, who Tom Izzo took over his hometown guy in Brandon Johns. I mean, he had the decision there. You got the hometown guy right there in East Lansing. He went to Ypsi and took Gabe Brown. And you know what, Gabe Brown, I wouldn't say he's been a disappointment, but he hadn't been any star through his first 3 years. But here he is, a senior. And what is he? He's a star. And that's what you hope. The guys elevate their games as they go along. But Brandon Johns, I know he didn't play last game because we think of COVID, but that's it, man. You're hoping that you get a guy like that. So, that they've got a couple sophomores that they're expecting that were part of the rotation that, and Terrence Williams and Zeb Jackson, and those guys, They haven't stepped up either. And then you get to the 6 freshmen. I mean, Caleb Houston was a top 10 player, and he can't hit the broadside of the barn, and he's supposed to be draining threes from all over the place and thinking it was going to be a lottery pick. But, he reclassified. He still should be in high school, and that's kind of the way he looks. He looks like a guy that's very talented, but he's just he's a boy playing with men. Maybe he'll be able to adjust. But so all of those things that, last year went so well for him, this year, they're not going so well.
I mean, I don't know if they can turn it around because they just lost to Rutgers for the first time since they've been in the Big Ten. But I got to give Michigan State a lot of credit too as well because Marcus Bingham Jr. and Malik Hall have been playing out of their mind. Tyson Walker's been okay, but Tom Izzo is just having his team play hard, and they're playing well, and they're leading the Big Ten right now, even ahead of Purdue and Illinois and Wisconsin, because they got a star in Johnny Davis. That man scored 37 against Purdue at Purdue. So I don't know. Maybe can Michigan turn around? The way I'm looking at it right now, I doubt it because I thought they were going to beat Central Florida. Turned around for a minute, came back, and ended up getting blown out late in that game against a Central Florida team who's okay. I mean, but the way I see this going Saturday, Michigan State's going to run away with this game, or probably just because. But it's a rivalry. But I just don't see Michigan right now being able to turn around, especially as they get deeper in the conference, playing Ohio State, Illinois, and it goes on and on.
Yeah. I kind of think this might be Michigan's wake-up game right here, though. You got your big in-state rival coming in. It's going to be a big game. Nothing's been going right this far in the season, and this might be that point. This might be that game that wakes them up and maybe change the dynamic of their season. Rivalry games tend to do that, so we'll see.
And they have a lot of young players, and things can turn on a dime in college basketball. So you're right. I know that's the hope for Michigan. Michigan State. Max Christie. You didn't mention him. I mean, he's been pretty awesome as well. He does look like a 5-star. He is playing that way for Michigan State. But the Spartans, man, they've only lost 2 games. That first game way back against Kansas, they always lose that game, and then they lost to Baylor, the defending champs. Other than that, they've just been beating everybody, including last night against Nebraska. So yeah, I think Michigan's in for it, just because the way I know Tom Izzo's how his team guards, and Michigan, they haven't been able to do that. So it'd be a big surprise if Michigan's able to win it. But like you're saying, the dogs are barking. Maybe they can have it. And Beth mentioned that Gabe Brown's been good, and Hauser has too. And Hauser didn't look that good last year, but now he's fitting in a role there. So I hear you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we can revisit this, I would say, in the next month or so. We'll really know a lot more as they dive into the Big Ten, and obviously they're going to meet again. So we'll see where they're at later in the season because the season's about to really heat up.
Before we turn the page, let's get some picks on this game. Let's start with Raj, who I think I'm smelling an upset pick here.
I'm running with Michigan in the upset. I think this is that point in the season they get things turned around. The rivalry's gonna come in. They're gonna upset them. They're gonna stop underachieving and get their season back on track.
For me, I'm going to go with Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Michigan's had Tom Izzo's number the last few years, playing pretty well against them. So I think Tom Izzo is going to enjoy every minute of this victory, and Michigan State is going to pull this one off in Ann Arbor come Saturday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with Adrian. 70-60. I would pick Michigan State in this game right here. All right, let's turn the page. Oh, you got to pick? You can go ahead and give a number if you want.
I'll give 81-65 Michigan State. But yeah, let's turn the page to chapter 2, and that is what is really weird, guys. NFL week, not 17, but 18, with the added this extra game, which is just really weird. Like we like to say, I don't think they need to do it, but hey, that's neither here nor there. So I'm gonna start with you, Raj. Anything catching your eye for week 18?
Yeah, I think the big game, Stafford. They got the 49ers at home. The Niners beat them at home. No, excuse me, they lost in San Fran on Monday night. Stafford had 2-3 picks that game. He had a pick 6. The Niners win, they get in. They lose, they go home. So that's a big game. I'm looking forward to seeing right there.
I like that one too. Of course, we have a Chargers Raider game that's going to be Sunday night. That's going to be pretty good. I'm interested in just for the optics of the Jacksonville game. I wouldn't mind seeing the Lions get the number 1 pick, so I will be rooting for Jacksonville. Although I think they're going to get blown out. But I like the fans. They're having a clown show. They are inviting all of the fans to either paint their face like the Joker or wear the plastic mask, in retaliation of the team being a joke. So a clown show, that sounds like something that would be happening here.
That's going on in Jacksonville?
Yeah, clown show. Yeah, not here. Here, people are giving Dan Campbell. If it was still Matt Patricia, we would have a clown show here too. A real clown.
They want Trent Baalke fired, so I think that's part of the reason why they're doing this. But we'll see what happens in Jacksonville. I kind of looking at that game as well, just because there's a couple scenarios if Jacksonville beats Indianapolis and the Colts and Raiders don't. I mean, not the Raiders, but the Raiders and the Chargers don't tie, and the Steelers win, and they have a possibility of getting in the playoffs. So that's big for me. And as you know, they got a game against Baltimore. I don't believe Lamar Jackson's going to play, so we'll probably be Huntley. But we'll see what happens with that.
So if the Steelers sneak into the playoffs, you think they can make some noise?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so either. What about the interest in the Lions game here? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like the draft, it would matter. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. It matters if Jacksonville loses, right? So I guess if it would be kind of Lion-esque though, if Jacksonville won and then the Lions went out there and won, right? And then I like that scenario. I think I could see that one happening.
Well, who's starting at quarterback for the Lions and for the Packers?
I believe, I'm not sure what the Lions, but I believe Aaron Rodgers will probably start maybe like a quarter or two if LaFleur decides to. But he said he's going to play his starters, which I think is the right move. But if I was him, I would probably not start Aaron Rodgers so you can get that toe healed up a little bit, because I believe whether he plays or not, they can beat the Lions because they need that bye week just for him specifically.
Yeah, do they have to win that game to get the bye?
No. The Packers, they already got the number one seed in the NFC. They got the bye.
I thought the toe that I would just ask Aaron, you know what? You feel like you really need a series or two because you're going to get 3 weeks off. I mean, that rust thing, we've seen that happen, though. Teams rest guys, but you're right about that toe. 2 weeks ago, I would have said, boy, you'd sit him down for sure. But then you watch him last week, and, he wasn't really hobbling around there. So, I don't know. It would be all on I would just let Rodgers make the call on that.
So let's say that they did start Jordan Love that game. You guys think Jordan Love could win, or you guys still like the Lions?
I think the Lions, the Lions are going to fight tooth and nail, and the Packers are just going to be looking to get through the game. When you get that kind of recipe, the hungry Lions looking for a victory, looking for that springboard for next year. I kind of like the Lions.
I'm still going to roll with the Pack. I believe LaFleur will probably play his starters probably at least the first half because he doesn't want them to be too rusty going into the playoffs, because we know what happens when you decide to do that.
Well, if the Lions trot Boyle out there, that's an automatic loss. He's not winning any games.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. Goff should be starting. I mean, is he off how's his knee looking? I know he said he had a knee injury, so
I'm not sure I'm not exactly sure about with a quarterback. I'll have that game on, but I can see flipping it pretty quick and letting the red zone go on the big screen and allocating the Lions over there to this little screen that I use.
Who knows? Maybe Rodgers wants to pad those stats for the MVP.
He's the MVP. I mean, I know that guy. I know that guy in Chicago ain't voting for him, but Hub Arkish. But yeah, he is the MVP. Speaking of the Lions, as we get to Chapter 3, I'm interested in what you guys have to say. And the wording here, you can go a lot of different directions. What's been the biggest surprise this year when you look back on the Lions season?
I'm gonna give you two people. I'm gonna give you an offensive guy, and I'm gonna give you a defensive guy. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go with Charles Harris, the outside linebacker / DN, whatever you want to call him. He's been pretty solid for the Lions as a rotational pass rusher. I think I can't believe what they signed him to, but if he's a free agent, bring him back, add some depth, a guy who's, established in the league. He's been around, he's been in Miami, I believe he's been in Atlanta. Just bring him around a little bit and keep him on the roster. Just a good character guy, good guy who plays hard. Offensively, I'm gonna go with obviously Ahmad St. Brown. He's had a strong second half of this season coming along for Jared Goff and Boyle and company. I think that's a building block on that offense that you can build around, especially if you can get you another receiver or two. This man would be super dangerous, especially because you can put him in the slot. He's played outside, but I believe if you put him in the slot and he's next to a number one, if the Lions can get one, then he'll have a phenomenal season and he'll be good for years to come.
Well, you, Raj, what's your biggest surprise?
I say the offensive line. They put a lot of resources into the offensive line. 3 first-round picks: Decker, Ragnow, Sewell. You got Noah Jackson. They signed Vitae from the Eagles. Coming into the season, I thought they would have one of the better offensive lines in the NFC and just in the league. And they've been underachieving. I understand they had a lot of injuries. Ragnar been out, Decker was out, but Pro Football Focus currently has them ranked 15th, and they got since week 6 they got Penei Sewell ranks 2nd in right and left tackles in the league. So Sewell has had a solid rookie season, but I thought the O-line would have performed much better this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think one of the big surprises is that the biggest storyline was going to be Penei Sewell and left tackle, right tackle. Are they blowing it up? I mean, everybody was just, you're looking for anything, to pounce on the Lions, from the beginning of the season. And I didn't think they should have moved him to left tackle unless they planned on leaving him there. So I thought they should have kept him at right. But you know what? He's flipped back there and he's been fine. I do think the injuries, I think if you had all of those guys, and you know what, Jonah Jackson ended up alternate as a Pro Bowler. Yeah. I mean, so that's good. Ragnar's good. Decker, I don't know how many games he missed, but it seemed like half the season there. I think, that's the most encouraging thing about this team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, yeah, he looks like he's a legit player. That's good. He's going to need some help, but I think that's the best thing about, this team right now is they look like they do have an offensive line, but that's not my biggest surprise. My biggest surprise was that they beat the Cardinals like they did. The 2 games that I thought they were going to win, I've talked about it a million times here already. The Eagles and the Bengals, they didn't show up. Completely ticked off about that. But you know what? They kept fighting, and then they showed up and they punched Arizona in the mouth from wire to wire. And they didn't have any other real stars in that game. It was a bunch of guys that nobody's ever heard of, stepping up. That game to me was the biggest surprise of the season.
That's what the Lions do. They win the games they're not supposed to win in typical Lions fashion.
Here's K Salty there saying Amon-Ra St. Brown proved he's the dude to watch out for. Yeah, you know what? His season, it was like all right, and then it was like a little bit better, and then it was like now he looks like a superstar. These last 3 or 4 games, if you compare him to the targets and his production with some of the better wide receivers in the league. So, I mean, nothing but praise here for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, that's, he's done a hell of a job. No doubt.
St. Brown, he's had the coming out party I've been waiting for Hawk to have. Yeah,
and you know what? We don't see him here yet, but, he'll be checking in, and we know that somebody will be getting on the feedback and telling us he told us so, because he was telling us so all season long. We were like, yeah, where's he at? And then he did show up.
He's had to deal with some bad quarterback play, but still, if you're the best receiver, you got to look the part.
Well, he was only a rookie, and he didn't come on. So yeah, I mean, you'd give him an A. You'd give him an A, and you'd give the Lions an A for making the selection as well. And that was the one part with Brad Holmes when you look at who they brought in to start the season, like Tyrell Williams and Brashard Perriman. I mean, those are supposed to be and Williams hurt his neck.
And Quintez Cephas did get hurt early as well.
Yeah, and then Perriman, couldn't get onto the field. Of course, he couldn't with the Bucs. I mean, that was kind of old Lion stuff, but they needed somebody to emerge, and they did. They got him. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Real quick, I think actually if the Lions handle this offseason right, they got sufficient cap space, and they do draft well, get some free agents. I think they can be in position to be a lot better next year, even with Jared Goff at quarterback. Because if you look at this division, especially if Aaron Rodgers decides to leave Green Bay, the Vikings aren't very good with Kirk Cousins, and we already know how a hot mess it is in Chicago right now. So the Lions are in good position, I feel like. So do things right, and this will look like it can go up in a big way.
I want both of you guys for Tuesday, look at the wide receivers that are projected to go in the first round, and then think about the Lions there with that second pick with the Rams and which guy, you like, whether it's Olave or Garrett Wilson or the guy out of USC. We'll take a look at him, zero in on him, and with that Lions second pick. We'll do that on Tuesday.
Stay tuned.
All right, that's the chime to get us to the 4th chapter. And for that, I'm stealing Adrian's thunder here a little bit. We're going to get to that basketball game tonight. You got CADE Cunningham, the number 1 pick this year. You got Ja Morant. Was it 2 years ago? Because it seems like, it wasn't last year. So 2 years ago, the number 2 overall pick. They thought they lost the lottery because everybody wanted Zion, so they got relegated to take Ja Morant. Although there were some people saying, hey, take Ja over Zion. Those people are looking pretty smart. But can CADE Cunningham be as good as Ja Morant is now next year? Raj, we're going to start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely think he can. He's already starting to come into his own now. He has the green light. I don't know. He hasn't fully put his foot on the gas pedal and just took it over, but I think he'll be more comfortable by the time next year come. He's gonna have the ball in his hands more than Killian Hayes, if Killian Hayes is even still on the team next year or not. But yeah, absolutely, I like the direction that CADE headed in. He's definitely one of the cornerstone pieces to the future.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I've been the biggest CADE supporter even before the draft, and I was happy when the Pistons got the number 1 pick, and I've been on the CADE bandwagon since he was at Oklahoma State. I think he's a phenomenal player, developing right before our eyes and becoming a star. But the Pistons just need to give this man some help because we know the Grizzlies have some really good players, some role players. You got Desmond Bane, you got a D'Anthony Melton. You got a lot of big guys. Killian Tilly, they got guys coming in providing. Dylan Brooks hasn't played as well this year because he's been hurt and banged up. But you see what Ja's doing. You see what he did against the Lakers. You see what he did a couple nights ago against the Cavs. Even last week against the Suns. This man is on a mission right now, and he's here to prove everybody wrong. I did before the draft. If it was me, I said I would have picked Ja. He was more proven. He stays healthier than Zion, and that's still being proven right now to this day. Zion's out in Portland right now rehabbing because they want to keep him out of New Orleans. So he's missed more NBA games than he's actually played in. So, you know, what does that tell you? It's not a good sign, but you know, I do believe CADE will can get that far as good as Ja.
I saw you tweeting about Ja the other night after that big game. You were impressed, and this is a pretty interesting piece of feedback here from Beth, who says she sees a little bit of Luka Doncic in CADE, and people had talked about that before the draft, before we actually saw him out there. That was one of the comps. Do you see a little bit of that Doncic in CADE? What Beth's talking about, Adrian?
He's a little more athletic than CADE, I believe. His work, I think, is harder than Luka. I think Luka's a more talented, but I don't think Luka works as good at his craft as he does because he's out of shape. I believe he has what I like to call a dad bod. I think CADE can be is really good, but I think they're kind of different players in a way. So,
yeah, Raj, I think they got a little bit of that where you know they kind of just set you up with that dribble, and they got a lot of that side to side, step back kind of thing where it looks like it's slow motion, but they're just good enough to be able to get that shot up. CADE has got a little bit of that in him. Yeah. But who did you think who did he remind you of, Raj, coming out? Was there any specific player?
No specific player, but you know, they're both playmakers. They're both guys that need the ball in their hands. And I did hear about the potential trade for Jeremy Grant to the Lakers for Horton Tucker and a potential pick. Hope you don't like that? I like that move.
Tucker,
I liked it too.
Yeah, I like THT, but I need a little more from the Lakers. That's not enough. That's the Bell and the Lakers. That's way too easy to make them.
They were getting 2 number 1s in that proposal, though, weren't they? And they were getting Malik Monk, I think.
I think
they were getting Monk, that Tucker, and I think they were getting at least a first-round pick. And I saw everybody dogging it like, "Oh, we need a lot more." I'm like, "How much more do you think you're going to get?"
Right.
I was all right with that.
Yeah, I was on board with that. I'll take Horton Tucker running the point over Killian.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
I like the flyer like Malik Monk. I still think he could be a nice player in the league. And the first rounder, especially if you're getting it for like the furthest down the road, that Laker team could bust open at any time. And that could be a top 10 pick, if not top 5. I thought Jason Tatum was my comp for CADE coming in. Still a little bit of that, but you know, CADE's got his own, like, you know, he's you know, at 6'6", he's kind of his own guy, you know.
I'm definitely tuning in tonight at 8 to watch these these score off and see the Pistons. I need a better performance than we got last night in Charlotte. So that's not gonna cut it.
Last night, man, I had to turn it off after a while. It was getting ridiculous.
Hopefully Beef Stew can suit him up tonight. Yeah, it'd definitely help to have him back.
Yes, it would. They could use him. That's for sure. And, you know, it just wouldn't be a show if we couldn't get Super Recetti in, who's giving us a super happy new year. And we're all giving him a thumbs up. And he'll make his picks in real time. You guys ready to make some selections here?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. We start out because we will be here Tuesday. Monday is the national championship game. That is Georgia and Alabama. The last I saw is that Georgia was favored by 2.5. Raj with the selection.
I'm gonna go with Georgia. Georgia wanted this game really bad. They had a bad taste in their mouth from the loss in the SEC championship game. They took it out on Michigan, and I think they're gonna take it out on Alabama. Give me Georgia in the points.
You got to lay 2.5.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna lay it.
All right, give me this. It's not even no question right now. Number 1 team in the country, Alabama. Nick Saban has Georgia's number, has Kirby Smart's number. I can never, at this point, it's like betting against Brady. I can't bet against Saban as much as I cannot stand the Crimson Tide. But you give me Bama to win, but 31-21.
Yeah, I don't like giving Nick Saban points. That's giving rat poison, out there. But I'm going to agree with Raj here. I think the Dogs are going to have their day. I think that, that first game, they didn't have the motivation. Alabama did. I mean, they had to win it to get into the postseason. Georgia already knew they were in. I'm going to go with the Dogs here. I don't know what Rossetti. I thought he was going to make a pick here. All right, Packers, Lions. Green Bay is favored by 3.5, Adrian. You said you like Green Bay earlier. Do you like them by that many?
I do like them. Green Bay will win by 4, even if Jordan Love decides to play. So give me the Packers with the later points.
Yeah, the Packers, they just got the Lions number. Even if Jordan Love starts, this will probably be the game he has his coming out party. We see Matt Flynn do it his last game against the season against the Lions. I could see that happening with Jordan Love as well. And Boyle might potentially be starting. So give me the Packers.
Man, this is you guys, I know I'm older, than you, but you've seen it before. I mean, this is the kind of game. Packers are, they're going to play guys for 1 quarter, and then they're all going to be sitting there on the sideline with their caps, and then they're going to be playing a bunch of dudes that nobody's ever heard of. And the Lions, this is their Super Bowl. They're going to go out there. I like the Lions outright, and I have a suspicion that Jacksonville's going to beat Indianapolis, and everybody's going to be going, wait, what? So there you go. That's my prediction. I like the Lions outright.
Okay, so if Jacksonville upsets the Colts, Pittsburgh will be in.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll have a happy keeping the score. Super Rossetti. I don't know. He's going north versus south. I don't know what was going on there. The game that Raj was talking about earlier, the 49ers, they are in LA. They are taking on the Rams, and the Rams are favored by 4.5. All right, Raj, you're laying that big number against the 49ers who need it. How do you see it?
I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one. I think the Rams get them back. I think they got a bad taste in their mouth as well from that Monday night loss. It's an important game in the division. I think the Rams get the 49ers out of there. I think they get them gone. Give me the Rams in this game.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. They're gonna get this division title. I know all Lions fans are gonna hate it because they've been rooting against Matt Stafford the entire season. But Sean McVay's been getting outcoached by Kyle Shanahan the last few times they played. So I think the Rams come in with a point to prove. And this momentum, Cam Akers is back, by the way, from Achilles, which is remarkable. So the Rams are loaded. They're ready to go, and I think they're tuning in for a huge Super Bowl run. So give me the Rams over the Niners.
Yeah, and what are we talking about? I mean, I know Jimmy G's got that busted up thumb. Am I talking about Trey Lance? I mean, give me the Rams all day long. I mean, Trey Lance isn't going to beat if that's the direction they have to go. The other game is going to be the Sunday night. This is the one where you win, you get in. The Raiders, they are at home. So this is going to be in Vegas. The Chargers go in there, but you have to lay 3 on the road, which when you get to divisional opponents, you start looking at those numbers. It usually doesn't bode well. Adrian on the selection here. What are you doing with that game? Chargers favored by 3.
Give me the Chargers later points. I'm going in my confidence with Justin Herbert. Shout out to Derek Carr, though. He's been carrying his team all season with all the off the field issues. But I'm going to roll with the better quarterback in the situation. That is Justin Herbert, who I wish could be a Pittsburgh Steeler. But hey, I think the Chargers are going to win. They'll get in. So let me give me the Chargers.
It could have been a Detroit Lion if they would have had the selection, but they decided to go elsewhere. All right, Raj, you like the lightning bolts or you like the silver and black?
I like the Chargers and the points in this game. I mean, hats off to the Raiders for even being in this position, even to be in this game. Losing Gruden, Ruggs, Arnett the corner. Somebody else just caught a DUI. It's
Nate
been one
Hobbs.
thing after another. A lot of distractions, and they still might potentially be able to make the playoffs. But I think the Chargers get them out of there. Give me the Chargers and the points.
It's been a surprising year there for the Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, I still don't know who the head coach is there. There's Case Salty to wrap things up here. I am going to take the Chargers as well. I think they're going to win that one by double digits. Stafford's been playing pretty bad lately. He hears the noise and has something to prove. Yeah, I hear you there. You know what? There's a part of me, I'm going to root against the Rams. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all if they lose, but there's a part of me that wants to see Matt Stafford have to go to Lambeau and take on Aaron Rodgers again. I saw it so many times when he needed to do it with the Lions, that it's going to get the Lions in the fetal position watching Matt Stafford head into Lambeau already with potentially a playoff W in his back pocket, something that obviously was elusive for him here. The Ricidi wants to go against you on the Ravens. Not a big surprise there. All right, Raj, any final comments? Anything that you're looking forward to before next Tuesday here?
No, we just got a jam-packed week. The last week of the NFL season. Michigan State Saturday. National championship game Monday. So Tuesday show should be jam-packed.
Good point. Yeah, that is nice. Saturday we got some NFL games at night. I don't know if they're going to be, mean anything. But anytime the Cowboys and Eagles are out there, you watch that. You're right. You got a hoops game earlier, and all this madness of Sunday, which is its own special thing. Like Adrian pointed out, week 18, not 17. So it'll be good. Culminating in that Monday night, we'll be here Tuesday to talk about Georgia upsetting Nick Saban's. Or that won't be an upset. Taken down, get the championship for Smart.
If Kirby Smart can't beat Nick Saban this time, I don't know when he'll ever beat Nick Saban. So,
good point. All right, Adrian, tell everybody bye.
All right, everybody, have a good night.